One of the initial markers of being a gay woman, in my opinion, is the ever-fleeting issue of falling in love with your straight best friend. And as someone who had 3 female best friends for a majority of her life and into her young adulthood, I can attest to the fact that it does suck. It's probably the worst feeling you're ever going to experience as a young gay person, is realizing that you actually have feelings for your best friend, especially if that best friend is straight, and especially if you realize that nothing could ever happen between the two of you. This is the one with my best friend. As stated in previous episodes, in high school, I had a group of 4 best friends. 3 guys and a girl. 3 girls and a guy. God, I'm an idiot. Who I was extremely close to from the age of 16 up until I was about 23. We were friends all throughout high school and then all throughout college. And it wasn't until about 3 years ago when I got with my now wife that our friendship kind of disintegrated. And, you know, if you guys want to go ahead and listen to the episode, the one with the Fab Five, I kind of indulge a little bit in that situation. But the topic of today's episode is one of my more earlier moments of realizing that I wasn't as straight as I thought I was. All throughout high school, I was a self-proclaimed bisexual. I had noticed, the girls were pretty and I was interested, in the idea of being with a girl, but I never actually acted on it. I had dated 2 guys throughout high school and I barely enjoyed that experience. But that was, we all go through it. Straight women might have, an experimental phase in college where they deal with girls, but my experimental time was with men. But in my junior year of high school, I started to realize that I was starting to kind of have more than just platonic feelings for one of the members of my initial friend group. And it was the one who I called my best friend. So for those of you that actually know who I'm talking about, yes, I'm actually coming to terms and actually going to admit that I did in fact have feelings for her. And it might have actually been one of the reasons why our friendship disintegrated the way that it did. But let's start at the beginning. So, for respect reasons, I'm not going to say this woman's real name, mostly because, 1, I don't have the okay to, and also because I also do respect her privacy, and some things I am going to talk about do kind of divulge into things that she shared with me that I don't want anyone else to know. But me and this girl met my freshman year of high school, and we were not initially friends at first. She was actually closer with my sister, and it wasn't until about sophomore year of high school that we got really close and we became like instant friends. We kind of had a friendship outside of the friend group that we were in, so it was like our own separate little like universe sometimes, and we would spend the night at each other's houses. We would go to events together and birthday parties together. We'd spend the whole day in Center City together. Starbucks and walking around 15th and JFK became like a natural thing for us on the weekends. So it was really interesting for me when I was coming into my own and coming into my sexuality as high school drew to a close, and I kind of realized that maybe my infatuation with her wasn't so much so a friendship thing, but more or less a romantic thing. I never acted on it. I never did anything about it. I don't actually think I ever told her. I believe I may have. But for the most part, I kept my feelings to myself. Number 1, she was straight. Number 2, we were best friends. And to me at the time, I was so obsessed with the incessant need to have a group of best friends that I knew if I told her that I was starting to have like physical attraction to her and like an emotional feelings for her, that it would destroy any type of friendship that we had. So I never said anything. And all throughout high school, I kind of just let my feelings, wither away. Fast forward to freshman year of college, we all went, our separate ways. And Thanksgiving break of my freshman year of college, we all decided to get together, grab coffee, talk, catch up, what have you. And my best friend told me that, she had this roommate. And, they hit it off. They were like low-key like best friends, and she was like really starting to get cool with her. And that was when the jealousy kicked in. And it wasn't normal friendship jealousy, because I know most women will tell you when you're best friends with someone, especially women, and another woman kind of, comes into the situation and starts, take your place in a friendship way, you get kind of territorial. But there was territorial and then there was me. I low-key felt like that was my ex-girlfriend and this was like her new love interest. That's how jealous I was. Not because like the girl did anything wrong. She was a sweetheart. I mean, she was younger than us, and like I thought it was like really cool, that she was like, younger than us and everything, and like she was just like really down to earth, really sweet. We had a lot in common, but still I had this twinge of jealousy and this incessant need to claim my territory and be like, no, this is my friend. And it wasn't until my actual college girlfriend had told me that you might actually like this girl. Like, you might have feelings for her in a romantic way. And that's why you can't get over the fact that her and this girl are best friends now and that they're getting closer. And it's not the whole friendship thing that bothered me. It was the fact that not only were they like friends, but they were at the same school. They lived together. They were hanging out outside of school as well as like on campus, and like she lived in Philly too, so it was like, it wasn't like a situation where she was from like Pittsburgh or something and only went to school with her and then went in her own neck of the woods for breaks and vacations and stuff. No, like we were all in the same city, so it was kind of hard when we would like want to hang out and do stuff. She'd be like, oh, can I bring her? Oh, is it cool if we all hang out? And it's like, I didn't want to seem like a hater, but I also didn't want her to be cool with her like that because, after I was single and, my college relationship had ended, I wanted to tell her like, hey, I think I have feelings for you. And I know that like I can never act on those feelings because we've been best friends for so many years, but I think that's why I've been so clingy. My clinginess has been like a permanent character trait of mine, and it's one of the reasons why a lot of my relationships didn't work, but it's also one of the reasons why my friendships tend to fuck up. I have this need when I'm around someone that I genuinely care about to cling on and hold on for dear life, and my friendship with her was no exception. Things really got kind of hectic when she had invited me to an event with the organization she was involved with at school. They were having some kind of party at a club in the city, and she wanted me to go and like be there and support her. Plus I was a drinker and she wasn't at the time, so open bar type of situation. Naturally I wanted to go and have a good time. I put extra attention into my outfit because I had decided that day I was actually going to tell her that I had feelings for her. So I picked my outfit out specifically, made sure everything was perfect. And I go to this event, and rather than actually admit my feelings, I decide to act a damn fucking fool and throw myself with this other girl who went to school with them, who actually is, is bisexual, was open about, being attracted to women. So, I threw myself with the first gay person in the room because I was so nervous about actually telling her how I felt. And wouldn't you know it, I pussied out and didn't do it. I felt like on some level she knew something was wrong just because of like, we didn't really talk for a couple of days after it. And it wasn't until I invited her out to the gay clubs with me a couple of weeks later that I was like, okay, no, this is the night. Like, this is the night I'm going to do it. That was also the night that she had told me about this guy that she was seeing. And, that she really liked this guy and that she was, really starting to be comfortable, and that this might be a guy she might actually be interested, in giving her virginity to. And I knew I couldn't tell her. I knew that was not the moment. Feelings aside, as her friend, I didn't want to take that away from her. She wasn't one to share a lot about stuff that was going on with her. I was always the oversharer. So the fact that she was sharing this information with me kind of gave me the inkling that now wasn't the time. So instead I do what I always do. I threw myself at the first stud with dreads I saw at the club, and that was all she wrote. I never actually did tell her that I had feelings for her. And as time went on and our friendship kind of disintegrated, I started to realize that those unresolved feelings were probably part of the reason why I was never able to fully commit myself to a person, because I was always hopeful that one day, my best friend would get sick of men and give me a shot. But it never happened. And over the last couple of years, I've told my wife the same story, and she kind of told me that she can kind of see it. She could see it in like messages, like old Facebook messages I went through like a couple of months ago. I went through old Facebook Messenger messages between me and her. I went through old emails, old like phone messages, and I noticed as time went on, I was so needy and clingy and unnecessary that it was almost insane to me to think that she had no idea that I liked her like that. Like, she had absolutely no idea that I was interested in her physically or emotionally. It was almost like I've been standing in front of you for 8 years and you never noticed that I had feelings for you. Like, we've been friends for almost 10 years and you never knew that I had feelings for you. I almost wanted to shake her and be like, can't you see? Like, I can treat you better than any guy could. But I was too much of a punk to actually do it. And then our friendship ended. And although, we try to stay in touch, we still support each other's business ventures. I still, share her YouTube vlogs and still support her businesses and her accomplishments, and she still shows love to me through my YouTube and my podcast series, and we still occasionally check on each other's moms and stuff. So in some ways, although our friendship ended and I never actually got the chance to see if she'd give me a chance romantically, I am almost grateful for that friendship. I'm grateful for that experience because it showed me, one, what a real friend is. And two, it showed me that it's okay sometimes to not act on your feelings. Because I honestly feel like if I would have acted on my feelings when I was 16 years old and told her I had a crush on her, I don't think our friendship would have lasted as long as it did. And looking back on it now in retrospect, I'm glad that I didn't, because I needed friends more than I needed a girlfriend. And I wish I would have learned that earlier in life, and maybe I wouldn't have been so heartbroken so many times. But sometimes you don't realize how good you got it with the friends that you have. Sometimes I wonder if she were to ever hear this, and I'm almost hoping that she doesn't listen to this, because I low-key don't want it to be weird. But I'm glad, no matter what, that our friendship lasted as long as it did. She was really like a sister to me in a non-incest way, naturally. But she was family. And as much as I wish that our friendship was still real, I'm glad it never left the platonic stages. Besides, I don't think she could have handled me on that emotional level. I mean, she could barely handle me on the friendship level. Trust me, I'm a lot. But all in all, sometimes falling in love with your best friend can be a good thing, because it gives you more of a affection for them. It gives you more of an emotional connection to them, and it makes you fight harder for them and stand by them a lot stronger, because you want what's best for them. And that's the only thing I've ever wanted. I think that's why I still support her so much, and all the things that she does, and all of her aspirations, and all of her projects that she does, because at the end of the day, that love never goes away. And although it may have changed and evolved, and it may not be, as even though it's not as strong anymore, it never really goes away. And I'm always going to have love for the girl, and I'm always going to want her to succeed, and I'm always going to want her to be happy. And, if she ever gets married and has a family, or she chooses not to go down that road, I'll still support her no matter what. Sometimes the what ifs aren't worth the what's happening now. So I guess I just need to deal with what's happening right now.